Yes. And now it works. Okay. Yeah, I updated my Zoom and then it like got all snickety at me and wouldn't live stream. So we're gonna do an exercise class today with it's gonna be more strength and mobility based with a Laban lens. That's what I actually titled it when it uh, when my when I was writing it down. And then of course it wouldn't live stream. So now it's just exercise. Inhale, open, feel into your whole body. Wow, feel the good, feel the bad, feel all the things you feel. And when I say it, yeah, it's like my knees are just kind of like, what's going on? Also, my calves and my, yeah, I feel a little bit like I was running around on a cement floor yesterday. And guess what? I was. It makes a big difference what kind of flooring you're on when you're dancing. Inhale, open. Exhale, bend your knees, drop it down. Relax your neck, relax your head. Inhale, open it up, lift and reach. And exhale, soften and melt. Inhale, feeling the space around you, expanding out, inviting in the energy that's around your body. And exhale, soften and melt. What does that even mean? It's more that you want your fascia to open up and have some mobility and get long, get wide, get expansive. So you're not kind of creeping into yourself, right? Closing in. A lot of times when I teach kids, I ask them to put their arms over their head and they're like this. And I'm like, no, really put them up. I'm like, getting kids to really reach to the edge is not easy. So we want to have that access. So let's just find that big edge of the vertical plane, just reaching out, shifting around, getting big, as if you're just in this door plane, which you can see here. Here's the door. This is the door plane. Just getting moving in the door plane, big, expansive, blocking, right? If we were in basketball, we'd be blocking. Now, if I was in basketball blocking and I was like this, I wouldn't be very good at blocking. I want to be a little forward if I'm doing basketball blocking, especially if I want to get over people. Why am I even talking about that? I don't know. Spiraling, twisting through the horizontal plane. You can pivot. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. Now I'm moving onto the leg I'm turning towards and bending the knee and working through the ankle of the back foot. I'm going to change this, stop moving my feet, spiraling, looking around behind me so I'm more stable. I'm going to get a little bit more of a twist in my spine when I stabilize my lower body. Maybe it's different for you, but it's most likely similar. Then I'm going to change it so I'm going to the back leg and I'm going to flex the front foot, right? So even in this horizontal plane spiraling, I can have many different, sorry, I've got the hiccups, many different ways of doing it. Finding my breath. Let's do the lymph. So let's rub our hands together, taking your right hand up to this left upper quadrant subclavicular area. There's a whole lot of lymph nodes under there, and they're about to re-enter the bloodstream and filter out, and then they come back out again, or the lymph comes back out. Lymph is a big detoxifier of your body. Relax your neck and tongue, and then switch it to the other side, left hand on the right. And you can go, so here's my collarbone. I can go above it. I can also go below it. I've seen people do it like this. I like to be as sort of three-dimensional in my massage so that I'm also moving underneath and on top. So in the hopes of getting as much movement in that lymphatic, those lymph vessels and lymph nodes as possible. And then we're going to go up behind the angle of the jaw, relax your face. This lymph flush is great for your immune system, right? It's detoxifying your body. A lot of times, if we have stuff that's happening on our skin, the surface of our body, the underlying problem could be somewhere totally different, and it could be in the lymph. That's sort of the base groundwork of support for your immune system. Okay, let's just do these 2 points in here, K27, and just circle around. So that's an energy point. And you can go fast or slow in there. You can also try both hands, and I find that there's usually one direction that it wants to go. So I listen into that. If I go the other way, I'm like, I can go that way, but it feels so much better this way. So if we listen into that, that's helpful. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Armpit, pec area. Let that move, right? Lots of lymph nodes under there. You can move your arm around. If it feels tender, like not muscle sore tender, but like, I don't know. You can feel it when a lymph node is clogged. I still have one up here since I had COVID that's a little bit blocked. Circle. So when I have that blocked lymph node, I don't want to jam into it. It's not like a muscle. Oh, I want to release this. No, it's like I want to be really soft and gentle and encourage release as opposed to forcing it in. But I'm not sore in any of these other places, so I can go, it feels good for me to go fairly hard on my own body. Then we're going to go into cisterna between your belly button and your xiphoid process. And I feel like my body is like, okay, slow down in there. And also, if I curl forward, I can get a little deeper. And then going down to between the pubic bone and the hip bones, into the inguinal fold, or just above the inguinal fold, in this front part of your pelvis. And as you're in there, feel what your belly's doing. Are you clenching, crunching, and squeezing? Let it go. Let it be soft. Let the breath really flow down into the guts. So as you're breathing, and deep diaphragmatic breathing is great for lymph, right? It's moving all that stuff inside our body. As we're breathing, we're just encouraging that lymph flow. Then behind the knees. So yeah, without actually touching your body to get the lymph flowing, the best things are deep diaphragmatic breathing and movement. Hands behind your knees. Little circles behind the eye of the knee. And interestingly, I've had this right knee. It's pretty good right now, but I had some like water on my knee. And as I'm in this, the tissue on the two sides of my body actually feels quite different. So tune into that. Like, how does one side feel when we have two sides? We're doing one, we're doing the other. Is there a difference? Do they feel the same? Just shake it all out. Let it go. Breathing in some life and energy as we shake out whatever kind of crap we need to let go of. It might be stuff that's on your mind, getting stuck in your body. And maybe it's some old stuff, really old stuff, or maybe it's some new stuff, new things to worry about all the time that we're just lodging in our bodies. Okay, we're going to come in. Let me just move this down a little bit. Coming in to this wide position with our feet, and we're just going to shift from side to side. Shifting, releasing, letting your head drop down. Yeah, so when I am more sore, or when I have been running around in cement and I can feel parts of my body, then in my movement the next day, I'm always like, oh, I can really feel my adductors, or I can really feel my peroneals, or I can, whatever part of your body. It might just be, I can feel my outer calf. I can feel my inner thigh. Let's come in, and we're going to take our hands inside of our feet and bend our knees over the toes, bending down halfway. And then stretching up. This doesn't have to be your biggest hamstring stretch, just bending and straightening. If it feels good to stretch deeper and with the hamstring to really get down there, go for it. Last one. And then roll up, coming all the way up to the top. I have now managed to make the mat underneath my carpet all weird and wonky. Okay, let's take it down to the floor, and we're going to spiral from side to side. Spiraling, take it down, push the floor away. Let's go for the big arc on top. Taking it down, push the floor away, open it up. Like you're painting a large rainbow. I had the amazing luck to see a really beautiful double rainbow on, was it Monday? Yes, it was on Monday. I was driving upstate, further upstate to go to my rehearsal, and there was a big rainstorm, and then it stopped, and there was like sun coming through, rain over here, really beautiful clouds, and then this really intense double rainbow coming down really close. I was driving into it. All right, if you have weights, I just want to try this with weights. So if you don't have weights, no problem. And if you have any kind of arm stuff and you don't want to use weights, that's fine too. But it's just circling up with the weight and then taking it down to the floor. Circling one arm, circling the other arm, and taking it down. My weights are really light. These are 3-pound weights. You could do this with a lower, lighter weight. And if you have any kind of injuries or any kind of extra stuff that you're dealing with, do it with no weight. But if you have, ah, yeah. And then let's change that, getting rid of the weights. But we're still going to stick with the spiral. We're going to, let's see, let's do it this way. Well, let's just do it like this. Let's just knee drop, leave the legs like that, and just press the pelvis up. You're going to get a stretch in your side body, coming up out of your hips and the top of your hips. So also your guts, your abs, opening up, or particularly your, what are they? Internal and external obliques, probably, as we're circling to one side and lifting, and circling to the other side and lifting. So this is really a mobility exercise, right? This is going to help us when we need to move from here to there. Let's change it. We're going to cross over. This time this leg is going to sweep through, and we're going to go up a little higher. And then take it back down. Knee drop, cross over, press, open, circle it down. Knee drop and cross, open it up and come down. Knee drop, cross, open, arch, and come down. And feel the swing of that. Like there's sort of a swingy nature. If you go a little bit faster, you can feel it as we come to the edge of that possibility. I mean, you could keep going. Oh, you could do a full arm circle there. How does that feel? Yeah, you can play in both directions with the arm circle. Oh, cat's in and out, circling one way, circling the other way. Good, and let's leave that alone and take it down onto the floor. Let me grab my block. Yeah, Peapod made her little appearance, and then out of camera, Squeaky Deaky came in. Squeaky Deaky, the block destroyer. You can see how eaten up and chewed up my block is. He loves to get his little paws on it. Okay. So we're going to do a little bit more hamstring and back stuff today. And since we've done a lot of mobility stuff already, I think we can go right into it. So I'm going to take the block, stick it under one foot. The other foot is on the floor, even with that first foot. Inhale, press up, exhale down. My block is a little bit small. I like the bigger blocks actually better, but whatever you've got, it might even just be a book. An old-fashioned telephone book works. What is that? If you're under a certain age, you don't even know what a telephone book is, maybe. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, press it up. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, up, stay up. Take your other leg up off the floor. Circles with that leg. Pointed toe, long straight leg, circles one direction. And let's flex and change direction. Reaching out, feel the tissue of the whole leg, pushing the pelvis high. And then fold it in and come down. We're going to do more, but we'll go back and forth. Switch the block to the other side. So I was in my rehearsal yesterday and for Rocky Horror, and some of the cast are very young. Like, I think some of them were like born in like like late 90s or maybe even the 2000s, like pretty young. They're really sweet. And somehow I was talking about Philip Glass, and one of the girls came up and she goes, "Who is Philip Glass? What's minimalist music?" So we had a big discussion about that. And she's like, "I'm really curious. I'm just too young to know." So hopefully, I'll probably send her a link. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale lift, exhale lower. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Press it up. Take your leg up to the ceiling, outer circles with the leg, pushing the floor away, pointed toes, long, strong leg. I once had this amazing opportunity to be flex and change direction at somebody's like massive townhouse apartment in the West Village of New York, watching Philip Glass play piano like 2 feet away from me. It was, a very wealthy person's house, and they had invited some dancers. Well, they had hired some dancers to perform. And let's fold it in and take it down. And so I was actually the guest of one of the dancers who was performing. Um, Open it up, bend your knees. But it was like, oh, that's the beauty of a life in the arts. All sorts of interesting opportunities arise. Let yourself release. So hamstrings should be pretty warm now. Now that they're warm, this is a good time to stretch them. Let's roll back and forth also, if that feels good. You could stay in your baby. I just need to roll. I need to massage out my own back. And then coming down, feet on the floor even. And we're going to take the pelvis back up and just circle the pelvis around. Letting this really mobilize, pushing the floor away. When we're doing this work, we don't want to squeeze in all our organs with our abdominals, right? That's not the point. Change direction. We want to mobilize. We're strengthening our back. We don't need to tighten up the front while we're working the back. Some people would say otherwise, but to me, it just doesn't make any sense. So come down, open it back up, big stretch, happy baby, breathe. Mobility and freedom, especially after a certain age, like especially if you've been doing a lot of fitness work, a lot of dance work, up, maybe once you pass 40, if you've done a lot of work, it's time to undo some of the holding and some of the tension patterns that you've learned through all that great work. Soften it back up. Let the river free up, becoming more fluid, which isn't to say don't build strength. Do build strength, but don't build tension, right? Strength and tension are two different things. Strength, our muscles, when they're strong, also should have on the other side of that a really massive capacity for releasing. Let's go with this leg switch exercise, kind of a mixture of Pilates and gyrotonic or gyrokinesis. One leg at a time. 1, 2, 3. Circle it around and open it up. Other leg. 1. So we're getting a stretch with the top leg. We're reaching out the bottom leg. Pointed or flexed feet, or it could be point, 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 and then flex. Point, 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 and then flex. Point, 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 flex, point, 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 flex, point, 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 flex, point, 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 flex. Last one. Point, 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 and open it up. Relax, wiggle around. Let's do some internal rotation just as a recuperative pattern from all that opening. Internally rotate one leg at a time. Let your body soften. Listen into how it feels. Internal rotation, if you want to hook the heel over and take that deeper, you can. Or you could just keep moving back and forth. Sometimes, like, the movement part is more important. Sometimes just hanging out is more important. Listen to your body. Bodies are very intelligent if we learn to listen to them and come in. And I'm not talking about the like cravey, graspy part where we're like, I want to eat more Doritos and ice cream. I'm talking more about the calming down the nervous system or the activating in healthy ways where, okay, I need energy. I'm going to do this thing. Sometimes we think that the calm side, the rest and digest, soothe and settle is the only place. It's not. We need both sides and we need a balance between both sides. We need the upregulated, active, and then we also need healthy, downregulated, calming. Let's go with hands behind the knees, hands behind the knees, hands behind the head, elbow to knee, crossing over, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to change it. Legs are going to go up, flex your feet, and then come down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pointed toes, straight, just reaching it out, no up, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bring it up to the ceiling, flex your feet. 1, inhale up. 2, exhale down. 3, 4. If you want to be exciting, you can point down, flex up. 5, 6, 7, 8, and relax. Drop it down, free up your whole head-tail connection. Head-tail freedom, fluid spine. Spacious spine, lots of room. So from the head, when I say spine, I mean our spinal cord technically really is like, in here. But I like to consider my head to be very much part of that spinal connection. So head through the spine, down to the tail. Maybe my awareness is shooting all the way out through my arms and my legs and coming back in, right? We got the central nervous system radiating out to the peripheral nervous system, out to the edges. That is also known as core, center, distal, edges, right? And then also coming down the middle is our autonomic nervous system, very related to our vagus nerve, and that's the rest and digest, soothe and settle, or upregulation. So that's the sympathetic, that's the upregulator, parasympathetic, downregulator. And if we want to upregulate, we can just breathe more in. Take in bigger exhales. If we want to downregulate, we can just extend our exhale. So let's use downregulation with a theta breath hiss and just free up the spine for a few breaths. Letting your body be like a body of water. Tuning into the natural flows inside, or maybe they're not natural, I don't know. The movement flows that can happen if we start to release some of our I'm being Laura holding patterns, or I'm being whoever you are holding patterns. Kitty Cat Rodeo or anyone out there, there is at least one person in my Zoom room. Yeah, just free up the whole head tail. And in the freeing of the head tail, you're not clamping down on the rest of the body. You're allowing movement to come in any way that feels good. Anyway, we're hoping to like hydrate those extra little edges that maybe don't get that much energy or awareness. Also, like a lot of people have, cold hands and cold feet, right? The blood flow is not going so easily to that outer edge of the body. Right here in our heart, in our center, it's active. There's tons of stuff happening. But as we get out to the edges, maybe not as much stuff. So how do we improve our circulation? How do we get better? Well, part of it is our own awareness of this core distal relationship, but the other part is through movement. Oh, my hands and feet are cold. Let me move them around. Let me bring some awareness and movement to that edge so that I'm clearing up the pathway to get there, right? I'm clearing up. So let's just do that. We're going to take our hands on our hips and just slide out to your feet. They could be, any way that this works, but bringing through your skin this extra awareness to your nervous system, to the flows of your body, which would be like all the stuff, all the blood, the lymph, all the things. And then you can do it with your arms, same thing. You can go in and out, just get that awareness, right? And it may be like, well, nothing really changed that much. But how long has how old are you? How long has this pattern been happening in your body? It might take time for these newer patterns and awarenesses to really connect in. And it's not like a one-time fix. These are things that we can just bring into our life on a regular basis. Let's do some weights again. I'm going to use both sets of my weights because I'm a maximalist, but it's also because I'm a pole dancer and I need to get back into my strength from being sick and then being in the city. I am not as strong as I was. So each of these is, I think, this is a 6 pound on each side. I would recommend going with way less than this unless you do a lot of weights. But I'm going to hold my hands together and I'm going to circle around, circling around my body. So you might want to do this with 2 pound weights, with 1 pound weights, with no weights, but just getting that movement of that arm circle around your body coming up and down, and then change direction. The more weight I'm holding here, the tighter the circle, right? I'm not reaching way out to the edge. I'm kind of tighter so that I can keep the connection in, like, because I'm not so strong that I can really reach out to the edge with these weights. If I get rid of one set, I have a lot more mobility, right? I got more mobility as I have a lighter weight in my hands. Like this is much, much easier than with the other set also. I'm going back and forth just to even myself out. Yeah, so just working with our awareness when we're working with weights of like, every day is not a different day. You're not always the same amount strong. You're not always the same amount awake. You're not always the same amount nourished. That's some really bad English I just used there, but it's always different. So we want to keep listening in to what is wise right now. All right, let's do this. We're going to do this leg lift depending on your strength and your whatever feels good, your flexibility. You could either just do it up to here and come down, or you're going to push up toward the ceiling. It's going to take me a couple of these to get anywhere to where I want to be because my neck and shoulders are tight. So it's an option to push it up. You want to take your feet so that once they get over your head, they just start going up. So it's not like pushing back and then up. Although that's not bad either. And my neck is so tight right now. That feels pretty challenging too. But thinking of your feet being basically over your face as you're going up. Yeah, I need to do some shoulder stands and some plows to open this back up. Using your breath. Yeah, I'm trying to exhale during the hard parts and inhale during the easy parts. I'm going to take this into a plow. Just rolling back. See if I can release some of that stuff in my shoulders and neck. So this is also, my neck and shoulders get tight because my hamstrings are so open. So it's really easy for me to go forward, but I'm not getting the stretch in my head and neck, right? So let me show you what that's like. If I'm here and I'm going all the way forward, this isn't rounded at all. If I were tighter in my hamstrings, I would really need to round, and then I would open this up, right? So that's how your body often works. Something's super open here, and that might make it tighter somewhere else, unless you spend the time really working to open those things back up. And most people work towards their strengths, not towards their weaknesses, right? That's what we like to do. Like, oh, this feels good. I'm good at this. Let's stick with that. All right, coming onto your elbows, legs out to the sides. You could, if you're tighter, you're going to do this laying down. If you're looser, up on your elbows, you're going to flex your knees and ankles, extend and point, crisscross, beat, beat, open, flex and reach, crisscross, open, flex, reach it out, beat, beat, open, flex, extend, crisscross, open, flex, reach, beat, beat, open, flex, reach, beat, beat, open, flex, reach it out, crisscross. Ideally, you're changing the leg that crisscrosses. So one leg starts in front and then the other one does it. And one easy way to remember is, so one is in front, now the other one. So this other one is going to go back to where it was and then change. So all you have to remember is which was the last one in front, and then bring it back to front and change. Did that make any sense whatsoever? Let's take it down. Relax into the floor. Just a couple of big deep breaths. Let out some sound. Maybe it's a hum, maybe it's a sigh, maybe it's a hiss. Playing with your breath, right? We can really breathe down into our bellies. We can also breathe down into our bellies and then fill up this upper body. We want to allow the breath in our body to create this movement. This is vitality and aliveness, but we don't always need to be huffing and puffing. We can also breathe very light, but very deep. And then take it rolling back and forth, and we'll open up into a straddle. Arms outside side, stretching it over to one side. And we're going to spiral, a little bit of movement up and down. Doesn't have to be big, but mobilizing in the stretch, gently mobilizing. Feel into that rotator cuff, that spiraling movement all the way down into your scapula, and then you can increase it into your torso. Lift it up, over to the other side. Same thing, spiraling down, spiraling up. If you don't spend a lot of time in stretches, if you're not regularly stretching, maybe don't go for your deepest thing, right? Let's keep it somewhere where it feels good. If you do stretch a lot, then go ahead and get deeper. Especially as we age, we need to take more time in building strength, in building flexibility, in whatever we're doing, giving our body a chance to adjust. Because if things happen quickly as we get older, usually the things that happen really fast in your body are injuries. The things that take their time is building strength, is building flexibility. Circling around. Yeah, unless, of course, you're using like steroids or something like that, or getting shots of cortisone into places. That will change your body. But if you're doing things in a natural way, it takes time. I personally really think that cortisone shots are a quick fix in the immediate time, and over time, really dangerous. They're not going to, and I think that's the problem with the way that we look at our bodies in this culture, is that we're just thinking about right now. Like if we're thinking about awareness, let's stay in the moment. But if we're thinking about our bodies, and we want to really think for the long term, like my goal is to be able to move like this or close to this when I'm 100, right? Why not? Why not have that be the goal? But that's a different end game. That means that along the way, if I'm injured, I can't take the quick fix. I need to take time to let my body heal in a more organic way. And I'm not trying to judge other people. Maybe your goals are different, but that's for me. That's what I need to do for my body. Coming onto your hand. And sometimes, and let me also say, I will take painkillers when I'm in a lot of pain. Like I'm not like, oh, let's be all 100% natural. I totally like we need regular medical intervention sometime. If that's what you need, then do it. No judgment. Just gonna reach through your heel, arch your back, open your chest, and come over the top, right? Sometimes we just need relief in the moment, and that is okay. And then change it to the other side, same thing. Pushing through the heel, arching over the top of the foot, curling, pushing down with your arms. Pushing back through the heel, arching, top of the foot pressing down, pushing into your hands. Arching and curling and arching and coming in. Let's go opposite arm to leg. You're going to have out, in, out, and change. Out, in, out, change, out, in, out, change, out, in, out, change. We're going to change this. I haven't done this in a long time. We're going to take one leg out, reach it up, circles. If it's possible, opposite arm comes up off the floor. Long pointed foot, find your midline, slightly cross the midline, then go out with that circle. Flex, change direction in the back. Reaching through your heel. Long spine. Bring it in, flex, keep it parallel, pulsing up. Oh, long back, parallel hips. Buns of steel. Just kidding. You definitely don't want buns of steel. Can you imagine sitting on steel all the time? Release it down, take it back. And you're just going to shift your butt over your heel. Arms are going to go slightly in the other direction. Go back and forth a few times. The little grunty pea pod is here. Take the other leg out, up onto your hands and knees, circles. Head reaching forward, heels reaching back. Opposite arm up off the floor or not. And then flex, change direction in the back. Shoulders wide, neck is long. Find your midline. And then bring it in. Flex your foot, parallel your hips. You want to feel the front of your hip bones both pointing toward the floor, pulsing it up. Good. Release it down. We're going to do a different release for this on this side. Just walk your knees back, circling the hips down towards the floor, and then pushing back. And then change direction, go the other way. And then take it forward. Curl your toes under, take your butt up, and walk, bending one knee and then the other. Lift your heels high, scoop your belly in, round your spine, roll it all the way forward. Drop your head, roll it up to the ceiling, lower your heels. Heels high, scoop, round, roll it forward. This time we're just going to flip onto one side, take a big arm circle. Let's go 3 in one direction. You can always put your knee down if you need to make this easier. And then 3 in the other direction. Opening up ribcage, lungs, and heart. Take it back. We're going to roll it again. Head to the floor, butt to the ceiling, butt high, scoop, round, roll it forward. Onto the other side, knee down if you need it. 3 circles in one direction, chest, lungs, heart. Diaphragm, moving. And change direction. Come back to your plank, drop your head, roll it up to the ceiling, lower your heels. We're going to change it. Right leg is going to go as high as it can, or left leg, big split, reaching up to the ceiling. Just hold that stretch. And then take your knee into your chest. Reach it up and change legs. Lower down. Left leg up to the ceiling as high as it can go. Big stretch. Hold it. Take it forward into your plank, knee to your chest. Push the floor away. Come back up to the ceiling and lower it down. Right leg up to the ceiling. Knee is going to cross to the opposite elbow. Bring it in. Reach it out and up. Poke a hole through the ceiling. Lower down. Other leg up to the ceiling. Cross to the other elbow. Bring it back up to the ceiling. Lower down. Right leg, knee to the ceiling. Foot to the ceiling. Knee to your shoulder on the same side. Poke it back up. And lower down. Last one. Up. Knee to your shoulder. Bring it back. Lower it down and come down. That was a lot of time on your hands. So let's grab on. Fingers are squeezing in. Elbows out to the sides. Let's just pull from side to side. So one side is pulling, and then the other. I'm also just trying to free up my neck. Then I'm going to turn my hands in and out. My hands are trying to pull away. My fingers are holding together. So there's this external pull on both sides. Let's press that up to the ceiling. Out through the back of the hands forward. Take the back of the hands to the ceiling. Push forward. Good. Just release it. Let it go. Shake it out. Relax your tongue. Relax your face. Big breathing. Let's do just a couple of these wrist push-ups. I can take off my sweater, I guess. That would be easier than trying to roll up these sleeves. I am actually getting warm in my cold house. It's, what was it, 48 degrees up here this morning. It's probably like maybe 55. And because the cats love to go outside and we've got the back porch, the back door is pretty much open all the time. Not in the winter, but like for the summer and the fall. So we haven't come to the point of keeping it shut. It's a little chilly in the house. All right, we're going to take our hands are going to be under your shoulders if that feels okay. If you need to move them further in front of you, just try to engage your lats a little bit so your shoulders aren't at your ears, but drawn down. We're going to bend the elbows to the floor, come up, press up, turn the elbows in and out a few times. Lower the hand, take it down. Up, push, elbows. Lower and down. Up, push, elbows. Shoulder blades, you may feel it all moving. Down, up, push, elbows, shoulder blades. Take it down. Then we're going to come just halfway up so you're on your wrist and then do the elbows in and out. Come all the way up, elbows in and out. Lower down, elbows in and out. Take the elbows to the floor. We're going to stay here and the hands are going to go in and out. And then come up and let's let that go. Enough activity. Let's do these internal and external circles. Letting your fingers really carve through the space, allowing your wrists to have some freedom. Really three-dimensional movement through the arms. We can get bigger with that, more presentational if that feels good. But this is all opening up fascia, chest, lungs, heart. Really feeling the connection from the fingertips down through the arms into, you could say, into the ribs, into the heart, into the lungs. And then shake that out, let it go. I feel like I've been going for a really long time, but I don't even know. Oh yeah, I have. It's almost 10. So let's just finish off with a couple hip stretches. So taking it into, you can go ankle to knee, crossing it over, or if it's easier and more comfortable, this is another option. In a perfect world, let me just show this. You actually want your ankle past your knee, so you're not doing this with your foot, but you've got this line through your heel without that stretch. That's in a perfect world. Maybe the world is imperfect, so it may come in. Breathe into it. And it's also kind of different if you're like with both knees bent. So adjusting accordingly. Breathe, soften, melt. Surrender. Surrender in a good way, not in a bad way. Not like, oh no, I have to give it all up, or I'm at war and I'm surrendering. But maybe just surrendering the war entirely is a good thing. Yeah, I can still feel the difference in these two knees through touch, even visually. Let's go with the other leg on top. Either the bottom one is straight or not, but at least I can get into these positions, which I couldn't for, I don't know, a month, 6 weeks. Breathe, soften. Our bodies are alive, right? So, like, they have this tremendous capacity for healing and changing and adjusting. And if you look at plants, like, if you give plants the right amount of sunlight, a little bit of nutrition, the right amount of water, they thrive. And if we think of ourselves in the same way, we need those same things. We need sunlight, we need water, we need nutrition. Good. Unscramble, bring it out, bang it up and down, rotate in and out. Yeah, so the banging up and down is to get the tissue back to a relaxed position. So if we've just done some big stretching or some strength work, both of those, a shakeout is going to allow the tissue in your body to just soften and come back to a neutral that is neither overstretched or overcontracted, right? We want that middle place to be very soft, easy, because that's where we are most of the time, right? We're not always walking around using all our strength. Ideally, we have certain muscles that are always kind of in a flow of working. They're not always totally relaxed, but they should be in these movements, right? Like the diaphragm is like doing this very alive, filling up and releasing. Oh, it's interesting when I say releasing. When we fill up with breath, diaphragm is pushing down. But when we exhale the breath and it's coming back up, that's when it's easier to do like ab work. It's the opposite if we're working with our back from like our bellies. Like we want to have the inhale as we're opening the space, not as we're closing the space. But just throwing that out there. Let's come up. A lot of it actually makes sense if you think about it, to standing and inhale, feeling into your body now compared to what it felt like when you first started. Tuning into that aliveness, the aliveness that breath and movement bring to our bodies. Shake out, right? So we want to balance a little bit of free flow in there. We're not always imposing our will, but we're allowing the organism of our body to participate in being with us. So that is the end of this class. I'm going to stop my live stream. If you are out there in TV land, please like and subscribe. And share it with your mom or your dad.